Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wick Mick. All right, so I'm going to cover once again one of the top fantasy novels from the Reddit R Fantasy. It is a collection of fantasy novels that they have ranked through crowdsourcing, and it's actually by series. So in this case, the series, well, more specifically, the novel that I'm talking about in this review will be The Ruins of Gorlan, which is part of the Ranger's Apprentice series. So, through the first part of this review, I'm going to try to keep it as spoiler free as possible. And then we'll go ahead and get into the nitty gritty and discuss the book with more spoilers in mind. All right. So, this is a YA novel written by John Flannagan. The series is pretty lengthy as far as book count goes. I think I took a cursory look, and it looks like there's 15 plus books in this book series. So I've read this first book, and I thought it was really good. Most YA novels I find somewhat boring. But this one had some real nice detailing that went into the uh, the dialogue that goes into the role that the main characters play. So in this book, you're introduced to two characters. The two characters' names are Will and Horace. They're both wards of the state, meaning they're both orphans, and they have just completed their their wardship and are now being shifted into more specialized roles in this medieval society. We'll just say that these two boys take roles that are different and you get to follow their path. Though you see the warrior path and the ranger path, and you get to see how different those are. And it's really interesting because one of the things I love when it comes to fantasy tropes, I love coming of age stories, and I also like montages and how a character builds in his craft. So we have two classic RPG-ish type of classes here that they kind of start out in and they progress. So so we get this coming of age story. It is prefaced by this evil warlord who is now more active. And there was this big war 15 years ago before the story takes place. So I really liked the bond between the characters and their um, like the apprentice and the master dynamic here is really good. I thought it was a really interesting story. This story is not super long, at least this novel, which is a good and bad thing. I'm already into this. I've actually already finished the second novel in the series, and I will make a video on that as well. So, Will and Horace, the two main characters, one is a ranger and one um, gets into battle school. So, I'm going to go ahead. The setting, of course, is medieval. And let me go ahead and just jump into spoilers here. So, we have these two characters, Will and Horace. Will is an aspiring knight, but upon the testing, where they get evaluated by the specialized schoolmasters, he is not accepted into battle school, which is the school that hones the knights, that trains the knights, that apprentices the knights. So he gets rejected, and upon rejection, he's noticed by another lead master of a school who only takes on a single apprentice. Will proves his worth and he ends up becoming a ranger's apprentice. One of the things I really like about his story in particular is that we get to see what does the ranger do. There's really the author writes really intelligently when it comes to the ranger craft, the types of things that they have to be aware of to be a ranger. So it's all about perception, being hidden, tracking information. They're basically medieval spies or medieval reconnaissance. They go out and they try to track enemy movements and get intelligence to bring back to the king. Um, so it's a really cool path to see him grow, and that's one of the things I enjoyed about this particular book. The other character, Horace, we follow his path as well. He gets apprenticed in battle school. Horace, unlike Will, doesn't have a great time in battle school. He's very talented, but there's a group of boys that bully him to no end. Eventually, that issue gets resolved, and he does get recognition by the teachers of how good of a student he is. So in this book, it kind of pays off. Their training pays off in the end, where we have this great culmination of the characters using the skills that they've learned throughout the book in a very exciting climax. Uh, One of the things that happens at the end of the book that's really nice is that Will gets the opportunity through his heroism to choose to go. He gets the opportunity to attend battle school. But one of the things he does is he completely rejects the offer because he feels so close to his master, Holt, who is a master ranger, that he forgoes his aspirations and sticks with being a ranger. There's also a touching story about how Holt had met Will's father and the heroism that Holt's father, or I'm sorry, Will's father displayed. It's a real inspiring story. And it almost hit me in the feels there. This is a very good book. I would definitely recommend it to kids, teens, but even I myself enjoyed it. But I'm going to tell you now, I can enjoy some young adult novels. Belgariad, I love that series. And it really does remind me of that type of writing, the really nice, snappy dialogue. There's a lot of world building, and it's a very cool book. So anyway, I implore you, check out this novel. This series, as I've read it so far, seems to be pretty good. On Goodreads, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I did, I would say I got pretty entertained by this book. It kept me going. It's like one of those books where you just want to keep turning that page to see what happens next. And the pacing is very well. There's not really any slow spots. There's always something going on. And that's something I really appreciate about this book. As compared to the last R fantasy book that I did was Deerskin, there's actually a lot of nothing that happens towards the middle of the book. And I really didn't like the pacing in that book. But this book, pacing is great. It's short, it's great, it's a cool story. And it's a story about, a fantasy RPG class that I had never thought of being explored before. So we're always exploring the typical warrior. Sometimes we have some thief class books, that follow thieves and assassins. This is a little different. He's this a royal ranger, a spy, an intelligence gatherer, a huntsman, all of those things that allow them to survive on their own in the wilderness. So it's a pretty great book, and I would highly recommend it. Now, thank you for checking out my video. Please like and subscribe. The next video I'm going to go ahead and cover the first book of the Malazan Empire, Gardens of the Moon. So keep an eye out for that one. I'll have that one up and running within the week, and it's going to be somewhat of a same type of review structure that we're doing here now. Just going to do a quick overview without spoilers and then get a little bit deeper into spoilers. But yeah, check this book out. Highly recommend it. And I'll catch you guys next time.